Okay, so as always, I don't have an agenda or anything right now. I was going to give you a little bit of a rundown of what's going on at the building. And I don't remember if everybody's aware or not, but we did switch back to wearing a mask.
Right.
And that took place, oh gosh, maybe a couple of weeks ago, maybe at most. I happened to be on a meeting, a budget town council meeting simultaneously, and they discussed it at that meeting and said, right away, tell them that they got to wear masks. So we did that quickly, and then Lori, I apologize that I did mention that to the people working at the Y, but I did not contact you, and I didn't do that on purpose. It was just an oversight on my part, so I apologize.
No problem.
Because I'm one, I'm a believer in chain of command, and I bypassed you, and I apologize.
Word travels fast.
So what we're trying to do is now with the new virus and everything, and how everybody's trying to interpret it correctly or incorrectly. And so where's the building? Well, the building right now is, like I say, you should wear a mask. Now, am I going to guarantee that everybody there wears masks? Obviously, we can't police it. We can just put up signs, and we can just tell people what they should be doing. In line with the idea of the masks and what I probably more so than anybody else right now, I tried to keep December pretty empty for a big gathering. And they did have one with a fairly large gathering in the gym, and I believe it went off okay, and nobody any issues that I know about. So I thought, and then we should discuss that. That's a good discussion for us. Is the different opinions now? Here we are. Besides us having other issues where people want to tell us what to do or not to do, now we're into that situation where I guess it's in the red. Doug, you're good with that? Right now, LaPorte's in the red. Is that the way to say it, Doug?
Well, we bounced out of it last week, but I expect it will go back into it this week based on the latest numbers. So
okay. So in line with that, and again, I'll just speak for myself, and you guys, we can discuss it, and there's just how I feel. We're trying not to obviously close the building. I think it gives a value, and people can make their decisions, and we just try to set some guidelines. So, and that's why I think it's probably difficult for the Y, but I think it's good that you guys are open, and maybe that leads into how are you guys doing with employment and the hours, because I don't know if everybody knows, and Lori, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, the building is open. What do you guys open, about 6, Lori?
Yeah, we open at 6 a.m. Yep.
Yeah, it is open from 6 to 7. Mm-hmm. And as everybody knows, the policy is if the Y's open, the building's open. That's always been the policy we've had forever. Now, then on Fridays, I believe, I always get it confused why you guys did it to me, just to confuse me. One of them is 4:30 and one of them is 4. But I think Friday, maybe I'll get it right this time. I think Friday closes at 4:30.
You're right.
And then Saturday closes at 4.
Correct.
And they did that just so I would be wrong, guessing at 50-50. So that's what you do. And then on Sunday, the building is closed because the Y is closed. All right? So that's pretty clear. Now, Lori, is that that looks like it's going to be that way for a while, or what's your interpretation?
No, that's probably what we're gonna hold for a while. We have yet to get the staffing up to even consider Sunday, even if nothing was going on, with COVID. So, yeah, we're committed to that right now until we get more staffing.
Okay, so what we've tried to do, what we've tried to do is, for some of the new activities that the park board is trying to bring into the building, is the activities are on Tuesdays. That's the and correct me, Joy, when I'm wrong. I think Tuesdays is Tai Chi, and I think that is a project which is going to go from 5:30 to 6:30. And
Well, they were going to move the time up on Tuesdays for Tai Chi so people didn't have to drive in the dark.
okay, was that the one? Because, okay, and they wanted to move it to 5 to 6? Or is
I
that
think
something
they want
different?
to move it to like 3:30 or something like that, 3:30 or 4:30.
Right. Where, see, that's the only thing, is just so we're all communicating, where is that at? Because what I know right now is still 5:30 to 6:30. Is there something different?
Yes.
Yes, it will be in the gym, and it's they would like to have it earlier on Tuesday so people don't have to drive in the dark.
Okay, and I understand that's what they want to do, but
And there's something already scheduled there, or could they do it at 3:30 is the question.
okay. So then, so that would be what, 3:30 to 4:30
Right,
on Tuesdays?
correct.
Okay. I don't think, and unless you guys looking at our schedule, and that is going to be in the gym, correct?
Correct.
Because we had that back and forth, Doug, with wasn't the Tai Chi the one that they weren't happy in the gym because it wasn't warming up fast enough?
Yes.
Okay, so we're going to attempt to have it warm, and right now it's going to be in the gym 3:30 to 4:30. Are they, because again, today's Monday, are they looking to do that tomorrow?
I'll have to quick look at their schedule. Give me a second here.
Okay, now, so Joy, maybe this is a little bit of a topic that I have, is that to try to have schedules where, what we've always done in the past is that the YMCA keeps the schedule, for the building, and then people have to interact with that schedule.
Yes, I believe that's what Sarah does. I think she contacts the Y.
Yeah, but I think she should first contact us.
Oh, okay. Well, now that I'm looking at their thing, it's at 3 p.m. They're requesting. And that would start tomorrow, January 4th.
Okay, so then,
Let me tell you what this says here on the page. Mindful Movement for Health and Relaxation returns Tuesday, January 4th, 3 p.m. and 5:30 p.m. with enough pre-registrations. So plan ahead for those Wellness New Year's resolutions. So it looks like she wants to have class at 3 p.m., if that's okay. And then her regular class at 5:30 p.m. for if they get enough people that are going to pre-register.
so see, this is the only thing, again, I'm not gonna,
I know, this should have gone
see, that's the only issue I have,
through
is
our,
it all should go through us, and because I do not want to put any responsibility on the YMCA people to make any decisions about the time. I mean,
Okay.
that's not what they're there for. We've agreed that they would create a schedule, but
okay, so could I be the liaison between the park board and our committee And then I will take on the responsibility of getting all the information ahead of time from Sarah and disseminating it to our committee. Would that be all right?
Okay, and I think that'd be fine, but just make sure that, like I say, because the only reason sometimes I put myself in the middle right away, because I know most of the activity, all of the activities that are going on in that building.
I know.
And I just want to make sure before the park board feels that they have that time, that it's gone through us and we've talked about it.
Okay, so while we're on this subject, Macrame and Music is on a Saturday, this Saturday at 10 a.m. Is that on the schedule?
Yes, I think that's if I'm not mistaken, the first Saturday of the month. They have room 13 for that activity. It's once a month.
Okay, and the only other thing on here is bingo, January 18th at 5 p.m.
Okay, and then she's got the bingo, but also don't forget, there should be something else on there on Saturday morning. They also have the activity in the gym. What happened to that?
Oh yeah, the turn it up or something like that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, so that's the activity that they have, and they were, or are they not going to do that activity on Saturdays?
Well, I don't see it listed under upcoming events.
Right now,
So,
where are you seeing? And then the other thing is just communication to all of us. Where are you seeing upcoming events?
On the Long Beach Activities Facebook page,
Why is it on the Long Beach Activities Facebook page?
because that's the only thing Sarah has under her control where she can advertise.
Okay, well, can't she go through something? Because I just want clarity. She's working, she is an employee and she's working for the park board. Doesn't the park board have a internet or an access for her?
Yes, this is it.
Okay, so that's a park board.
Yes, we display all the same information on the park board website. Now, the problem is the communication between them and us as a committee. I understand that. And so, when Sarah tried to tell them at the Y that she wanted to get something on the calendar, they said, no, they couldn't do that because, she wasn't on the committee and that kind of stuff. I understand that.
And that's correct. We're not changing it.
Yes, that is correct.
Okay.
So I will do my best to make sure I communicate with the committee before any decision is made with Sarah from here going forward.
Okay, because what I tried to do is that after I get the information, then I contact the people at the Y to put it on the schedule.
Okay.
All right, so I'd like to continue that.
Okay. No problem.
Okay, and the only thing while we got on this, I just want to make sure, which I forget what there's a magazine or something that came out, and it talks about what people's functions are. I think I mentioned this to you, that Sarah is a park board employee, and she is not on our committee, and she's not in charge of the activities at the community center. She's in charge of activities for the park board.
That is correct. And I didn't read that article, but I can tell you this after being involved with Habitat for Humanity for so many years, that when they write an article about something, I can't tell you how many times I was named as the director of Habitat for Humanity, which was in no way was that my position. So
and Joy, I don't have any issue with that. Just so it's clear, because I'll give you an example of something. Just so we would be abreast of things, I'll throw out a new thing, and I don't know how many people have heard about this or not, but I think you have, Joy, for sure. At the end of the month, I think it's the police department, but I'm not sure. I don't think it's the park board.
It's the police department. It's on January 30th on a Sunday.
Yeah, and the police department should have contacted us to make sure that that's okay. Not that we would stop it or anything else, but just to keep us in the loop for the building.
Yes, so I did get information on that. It is a Long Beach Police Department event, but Jeremy was sick the day the lady wanted to come look at the facility from the Red Cross. So Sarah met with the blood drive lady for the tour to prep everything, and Sarah's going to confirm with Jeremy tomorrow that the Long Beach Police Department is going to be responsible for opening and closing the building. And they will need tables and chairs, which Sarah said it will be the same chairs and tables that you leave in room 13 for the art class. She'll need those same tables and chairs for bingo and those same tables and chairs for the blood drive.
Okay, so two things. Number one, what I've done for now, because it's not that busy in the hallways where people used to walk all the time, I have 3 different racks of chairs, which is up to 75 chairs, and I have a rack of tables that's about 10 tables, and those are on that wall in the hallway.
Yeah, that would be fine for all of these events. You can just leave them there, and Sarah can put them back.
See, but like I say, I don't understand. Like you say, if it's not a park board activity, then, and it's fine, but I'm just trying to understand things. Why is Sarah
I'm talking about bingo, not the blood drive. The blood drive, the police department is going to have to set everything up, or the Red Cross usually sets up all of their own stuff and tears it all down.
Okay, because I have the intention tomorrow to call the police chief and just to go over this with him.
Yeah, that's a good idea. But yeah, this is totally a police department event, and Sarah just stepped in because Jeremy was sick.
Okay, because like I say, I hate to have anyway, because she's an employee of the park board. I don't want to be spending park board money or whatever. That's not, anyway. I'll stop. You understand? You understand?
And yes.
Okay. So then, if just to mention a couple other things, which I think I've mentioned again, but just to refresh everybody's memory, room 7 is the room that, and I don't know why I forget the poor man's name, Mr. Price. Mr. Price used to be in room 7. It's the room next to those 2 single bathrooms. That room, unless something changes dramatically, that room will be rented starting February 1st. And that room, they're doing Pilates something. What is it called? Joy, do you remember?
No, I just it's Pilates with machines.
Yeah, right. Whatever it is.
It's called Reformer, Joe. It's called Reformer Pilates.
Right.
What it's called.
All right, so we'll be reformed. So that room will be rented. So then I know I always make friends out of everybody I talk to, and the ladies at the Mahjong room aren't really happy because, you know, they will no longer be able to use room 7. And I told them that, you know, room 12 is available, because what we've tried to do is there's the 2 rooms, room 12 and room 13 are rooms that we haven't, and right now we're not looking to rent. And those are rooms for things to be done, like what with the park board now, with some of the activities that they're bringing to, they're going to use that for the bingo, etc. Now, so just so everybody knows, so that's what we have. Are those 2 rooms are available for people. Okay. Then the other thing, which I don't have it's been a while. Boy, it's been almost 2 weeks. But I haven't talked to anybody about what's going on with the yoga lady, Laura Lee. And the last I heard that she was moving back to room 8, and then room 9, which is the old room that Amy had, that we're looking to rent it. And there was possibly somebody looking at it, but I haven't had a chance to talk to anybody yet. So, and I'll try to keep track with Bill. So, so I'm just trying to think. I wanted to give everybody a rundown on the building, and then the only thing is sometimes in the let's say competition is, like I said, pickleball people, you know, have scheduled times that they use the gym, and there's 2 different groups of pickleball people that have schedules. They're on the Y calendar, and then, like we say, the 2 groups for the park board, they go into the gym, the Tai Chi, and the other group that comes in on Saturday mornings. So so that's mostly that. Now here's a topic, and it seems like renting. The topic has come up, and like right now, because of the virus, you know, we haven't been overly aggressive with bringing in groups into the gym. But that's the other thing, is that, you know, who should be using the building, and what's more important. An example would be you got a group of people that like to have an activity in the gym. They're just using the gym or for an hour or 2. They're not paying for it or anything else. They're just, it's an activity. The building's an activity. And then other people come in and say, well, they'll rent the building for 5 hours or 4 hours. I don't know how people feel. That's a, you know, is there conflict there? Do we always get, if somebody's willing to rent the building, do we always bump anybody that's not paying for that use? Or I don't know, maybe we should think about that and come up with some ideas of what we would recommend. Does anybody have any comments on that?
I just know that's been the policy in the past, that if someone came along and they were going to rent, they got top priority.
But then how would we, an example, Joy, you know, of one of these park board projects, now if somebody comes along and wants to rent during a time that one of the park board projects are using the gym.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's right, but the one who's responsible for renting the gym is Bill. And so he never cared if someone was using the gym. You know, he would go ahead and rent it, and then you were just screwed.
Well, that was because that's what I've been trying, not that I don't need another headache, but I've been trying to step in between there a little bit and say, Bill, you know, you got to give us some warning of what you're doing. And I'm just wondering how much you think our group should be part of that or not. I mean, is it the money trumps people's activities, or anyway, we don't have to decide it today, but I just throwing it out for thought.
Okay. I have some thoughts. I'll save them for next time.
Yeah. I don't know, you know, what else we would do. And then the other thing I was thinking, and then you guys throw out your stuff instead of me gathering all the time. Do we have any, you know, now that it's January and we got time to think, I don't know exactly how long the virus is going to go on or anything, but we've kind of curtailed some of the planned activities that we had, activities meaning repairs or things like that. Like Doug had some ideas. We were going to do something in that main hallway, et cetera, et cetera. Maybe people would think about it. Do we have 1 or 2 major projects that maybe we'd like to try to get done in the building, and what the priorities would be?
Well, I'd like to reset the clock back to 2 years ago and pick up where we were. And I guess we were ready to do something with the main corridor in the oldest part of the building, as you know. And we were also starting to get serious about doing something with handicapped accessibility in the building and the drinking fountain outside of the toilet rooms. So, of course, the wild card right now is the COVID, and I don't know where we need some guidance from the town. I mean, can we go out and, 2 years ago, we had some confidence that if we spent some money, we would get support for it, but I don't know where the town is right now and those kinds of things. So those are my thoughts right off the top of my head.
I actually wanted to talk about that main hallway today because I walk in that building probably 3 times a week, and it's just really looking tired. And having those posters just taped on the wall, I actually was going to see if what you all thought about me, maybe reaching out to Debbie and see if I could use some civic money and buy some frames to put those posters, in frames on the wall. I didn't know. I was going to ask if you guys had previously talked about it needs a paint job. It's dark, but it's good to know you had talked about it beforehand. I'd be all for doing something to make it a little more appealing.
Yeah, it would have been done 2 years ago, in a different world, different timeline. So
Yeah.
So where are we, Joe?
Let me see, because what I've done with the budget, and it seems like we threw out at the budget committee meetings, I threw out some of our big expenses, because God forbid I don't want to talk about it and something happened. But one of our main expenses over there is during the summer, that cooling tower. I don't know if you guys remember, went through the pains. God, it's almost been 4 or 5 years ago, Doug. We went through the pains of the cooling tower that was just about ready to blow up, and then we had some guys come and patch it. So there's a large expense there if something would happen there. And also on the, I think we have 22 of the heat exchangers in all the different rooms. So I believe, and I will review again, that we do have some money in the budget now to handle some issues at the building. So
yeah, we created a prioritization of physical improvements, capital projects in the building. And a year ago? And we kind of thought, at the beginning of last year, that we were going to head in the spring with the vaccines and so forth, we were going to be out of this and so forth. But I don't, we've got these things, and particularly with Larry. Larry has a background in contracting, and between he and I, we could make these projects happen. But so let's say, I think I know. So number one, we'll try, we probably should, and then we could discuss it maybe next meeting, is let everybody know, Doug, if we have any, like if you're saying, first of all, the hallway, if that was going to be a project right away. I'm just looking for, what do you think? Is that would be a number one project? Sue just brought it up. It is a mess. The ceiling is terrible. And maybe we could share with everybody on the committee what a possibility that we had of taking the ceiling down, repairing the ceiling, painting the pipes, things like that, so more people would be aware of what we discussed.
Yeah, I'm all for sprucing up the front hall first.
I mean, if you really look at it, it's terrible, to be honest.
That's terrible.
Yeah, did you have someone in mind as far as a paint job goes? Probably this was all discussed before I joined the board.
At one point in time, Mary Carol and I were going to cover that wall right I'm in that's next to the massage this, cover that all in like some kind of cork or something, and then make a display of all of the things we have, the John Lloyd Wright stuff we have. Like we have the original plans for the building, the blueprints and stuff like that. So maybe you and I can work something out for that wall for the John Lloyd.
I'd love to. And I also know someone who might be willing to paint some sort of mural on the other end of that wall, you know, more towards like the Y side.
Yeah.
You know, something. But I would help you do something with that.
Okay. I'm
sorry. No, I think that'd be good, but like I say, maybe if we can, because Doug has done some work also, maybe get Doug's input and see exactly what everybody would want to do, because Doug had some plans also for that hallway.
Okay, yeah, that all sounds good to me.
So if we could, okay, so we're talking about the hallway.
Right.
Okay, that's number one. Are you guys, see, it was me and I got I don't know why, maybe because I had the different procedures on my legs or something, but all of a sudden, for whatever reason, it dawned on me, God, we don't have handicap access in the building. And I was trying to figure out a way, I didn't try to figure it out, I talked to Doug, a way that maybe we could have a unisex, and I don't even know if it's legal, have a handicapped bathroom. Because I thought that would be important for a building that size.
I agree.
And what we had started a conversation, and again, we'd have to look at it. I don't know if you guys are familiar, Sue or Joy, if you guys are familiar with the bathroom. There was an old bathroom that's off what is that building? The room that fishing uses all the time.
Oh, Susan,
Courtyard room.
The courtyard room. Right off of the courtyard room, there's a small old bathroom there. And it's not large enough to be, but we're thinking we could possibly build off of that. But I don't want to, if we have everybody's interested in doing that, because I would think that's going to be a little costlier than just, doing the hallway. But I don't know if that's important on other people's lists or what people think about that.
I definitely think handicap accessibility is at the top.
Yeah. At least getting in and out of the building.
You can never go wrong with that.
And then maybe address the bathroom.
The handicapped accessibility, it has a number of different components. Right now, the access to the building where we go in, where the Y's front entrance is, that doorway is handicapped accessible. The two doors, the old main entrance to the building has a small step there. And then the same thing at the door back by the cooling tower. Those, at some point, we need to replace the walks there like we did, remember, Joe, outside the one that goes into the Y, because before that one we had problems there, the pavement had broken up. But there are a host of other handicapped accessibility issues in that building as well. But the simplest ones, the big ones are always how to get in the front door and how to use the restrooms. So.
And that would seem logical that maybe on those two fronts we should investigate. I don't know what kind of dollars we're talking about, Doug. You have a feel for the stoops or the ledges or whatever you want, stairs or steps in front of those doors. That wouldn't be too much, I don't think, but maybe we should, if we agree that that's something, we should maybe get, what's the name of those guys? Would it be Austin?
Yeah.
That maybe get a quote from them to at least solve that, because that would be even more than the handicapped. I mean, I can imagine people trip on those damn stoops all the time. and you're not aware of it.
Okay, but if we pursue some of these kinds of projects, is the town, I don't want to gather up all of this stuff and get all ramped up here and then say, oh, we're not going to spend any money. We'll do it next year.
No, all right. Let me get closer. We can talk about it more next meeting, and let me make sure I have my bases covered.
Okay, Joe, while we're on the subject of sprucing up the building, the park board would like to know if it would be all right with this committee if we painted room 13 and spruced it up a little bit at the park board's expense.
Sounds good to me.
The only thing, like I mentioned to you, and I don't have a problem with it, is we should probably go over it. I guess maybe if they could just give us an idea of what they want to do. What do they want to do with the, what do you want to call that little closet? Is that just going to be a demo, or are they going to keep that closet? That type of thing.
I'll verify all the stack plans, but no, we didn't want to go any further if the committee wasn't going to let us do it. So
yeah,
it's just that when Sarah holds, events in there for the town and people are coming in, it's, we want to show off our best foot.
Oh, and Joy, just from my perspective, we're starting to be in that situation. Prior to last year or whatever, it's always been, are the doors going to be open? Is it going to be warm in there? Are we going to have lights, etc.? Yeah. And I think going forward now, I think it's a great idea because, like I mentioned, Doug, and I don't know if anybody has the energy to do it anymore. In room 13, there's still two of those old heaters that are a real bear to get out, but they give you more room.
Yeah.
They're still in there, aren't they, Doug?
Yeah.
And I think we were ahead of the curve because I believe on the outside wall where those two are, I think we had anticipated that eventually they'd come out, and we put we put the proper stone in those walls, didn't we?
Yes.
So it all depends on, that's a labor project, Joy. We could do it without it. But I'm just saying that would be
nice if they were removed, if it gives it more room, but I don't know how labor intensive that is, but it sounds horrible.
All right, so let's gather the information on that, and maybe we can
Okay,
go
I'll
forward.
get the detailed info from Sarah and the park board, and I'll forward it to everyone.
Yeah.
So we have 5 gallons of paint that we bought 2 years ago for painting the quarter, parts of the quarter, touching up the paint in the quarters outside. So it's a nice neutral color. So that might be something that could be used in that room.
Okay, great, thanks.
Okay, so we've talked about the activities in the building. We talked about possible renovations or cleaning there, whatever we want to call it. Did we miss anything? Does anybody have any topics?
I just want to mention that we're overdue for replacing some of the air filters. And you know this, Joe. I haven't been in the building for the past couple of weeks because of the holidays, but we need to do that. And I just got a donation of a Wi-Fi thermostat that we're going to try out in one of the quarters so that we can see whether or not at least one of the heat pump units is running. Will give us alerts if we have a problem with the system that we don't have now. So hopefully that'll be compatible and we can make it work.
Okay, and like I think I shared with you, Doug, that in the last week or two, I haven't been quite up to snuff. And I don't know exactly what I had or didn't have, but that's beside the point. But I would possibly by the end of the week if you want to try to do some of the filters, I can give you a hand if you want to try
Okay.
to do some
Sure.
and work on them. And then, well, there's other, yeah. I was just trying to think of anything else. Oh, the other thing that was brought up, just so everybody's heard it, and I'll have to pursue, is I talked with Angela, who's the young lady that that takes care of the building for the Y. She works for the Y, and she brought up a good concern. Is, I guess, like we just chatted earlier, that Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, the building closes at 7, and by 7 it's pretty dark, and they try to park their cars out in front. And I did talk to, and we did talk to the police to see if at about that time the police could drive by just to give them some degree of comfort. And also, I talked with Tom Dolphin. I'll have to revisit that possibly NIPSCO could put, because there's 2 light poles out in that area where they could maybe put an extra light on the poles so that would brighten up out there. So just so you hear about that project. And then I don't know if anything, Lori, is there anything that we should be thinking about, for you to help the Y, or we just leave, everything's fine and we just keep going?
Yeah, we're doing okay, like everybody else. It's really more of the virus, where it's going, how it's going. So we're just trying to keep everything clean and safe. And at the moment, I can't really think of anything. We're just kind of on a status quo like everybody else.
Okay, but just so you know, and I think I speak for all of us, but we definitely are concerned about you guys, and you're one hell of an asset to the building. So we just want to make sure that we're trying to help out the best we can.
Well, thanks. I appreciate it. It's a good partnership.
That's what we're trying. Anybody else? All right. Are we just about done, or?
I think so.
Yeah, I've got nothing.
Nothing here.
Okay. Sue, you got nothing else?
No, I will email Joy and Doug and see if we can hammer out some details for that main hallway, and have, something to talk about the next meeting.
Super.
The only one thing, maybe I mentioned it before, I can't remember, but Larry is on his way to Florida. He's going to be gone for at least a month, maybe 2, if they're lucky. So.
Nice.
All right.
We have Zoom meetings.
True.
All right. Now, that was the other thing that Bob had mentioned to me, but then I don't know if he anticipated that it would get a little, the virus would be a little more contagious. But do we like the Zoom meeting, or the sooner the better we have meetings in the building? Does anybody have a feel for that?
I'm a fan of the Zoom meetings personally.
Zoom is easier, that's for sure.
Okay. Sue, how do you feel?
I can go either way, so that's fine. I'll do whatever majority says.
Okay. All right, great. Well, everybody have a great New Year, and hopefully we'll just keep going and we'll get better and better.
Okay.
Sounds good. Thank you.
too.
Thanks.
Happy New Year.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.